Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Movie Guide 2005 once again. And thank you for that. Thank you for your generosity, man. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this is for, as you can see, The Fly from 1986, which, what a year 1986 was, for me at least. I mean, Aliens, Big Trouble in Little China, this film, Cobra, I love The Golden Child, Maximum Overdrive. I mean, it was perhaps my favorite year of all time. I love so many films of that year, and this is a damn good remake. Considered one of the best remakes of all time for good reason. It's my favorite David Cronenberg film. I think Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis do a wonderful job. And it's a really heartfelt and tragic love story. This is what that Wolfman movie that came out this year tried to be. It tried to be this film and it just failed. First off, the original The Fly, it is what it is. I wouldn't say I'm in love with the film though. But, you know, it's okay. I barely remember the other ones. There's Return of the Fly. I remember liking Vincent Price. But this, I thought, was a much better remake. I liked the idea of this slow transformation. Now you could view it as cancer. I mean, at one point, even the character calls it a cancer. But someone that you love, just their body eating away at itself and becoming someone you don't even recognize anymore. I think sadly there's a number of people that have gone through that, have experienced that with loved ones, and can hit close to home to some people. And it's something to, some more food for thought to give during this horror film. It was always interesting to me that Mel Brooks produced this. Now, he didn't have his name on it, which this made sense because he thought, well, if I had my name on it as a producer, people would think it was like some comedy. So it's from Brooks Films, but his name is not on it as a producer. So number one, I thought that was nice of him to do because he wanted the film to benefit instead of having an ego. No, my name must be on there. He's like, nah, I think it'd be work better for the film. So I thought that was cool of him. And yeah, David Cronenberg, I mean, at this point he had done films like Scanners, The Dead Zone. But this one, I thought, some would say it's his most mainstream movie. That may be the case, but I still really liked it. I liked Jeff Goldblum as the scientist and Gina Davis as the journalist. They were an item at the time. They were together at the time. And I think it worked because their chemistry was on point. You bought into them loving each other because they did love each other at that point. And that's something that needs to be very important and very... It has to work, because if that doesn't work, the movie doesn't work. Or it can work, but just as a, monster movie, like The Fly 2. I don't think the love story in The Fly 2 works. Definitely not as well as this one. Eric Stoltz is there. I kind of would have preferred it was James Spader. I think Josh Brolin was up for that role, because I know he said that in an interview at one point. Maybe it's the Hot Ones. I think it was that Hot Ones, when the Hot Wings. I think he mentioned on there. But that's still fun for its monster effects and the gore in the third act. So I like The Fly too. But this one, the love story is so on point. Did you see the nervousness? Well, I mean, every Jeff Goldblum film, every Jeff Goldblum performance is nervousness. But you see that he's shy, but he's still talking to Gina Davis, and... Well, yeah, I mean, all these guys say, they don't show something that's so important and breathtaking, and... Well, no, he says that, and she goes, well, that's what everyone says. Yeah, but they're lying. They're all lying. And takes her home and eventually shows her this teleportation thing. So he's so excited to tell her, but then she's don't write a story. He's like, no, 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 you can't do that. Well, you can't tell a journalist and expect them not to say anything. But you see them work together and kind of get to know each other. And like, I bought their progression of the love story. It wasn't too long and boring. It wasn't too short and out of place. You have some really good makeup effects by Chris Wallace and his team. For example, the test with the baboon, and you see that the baboon has been turned inside out. I also like Jeff's reaction, where Gina's like, well, what are you thinking? Fuck is what I'm thinking. Well, that's a start. And then later they're being intimate. Like, they have, again, great chemistry. They work so well together. And I've always liked Jeff Goldblum. Hell, I mean, I think the first thing I saw him in was Transylvania 65000, and I liked him in that movie. I like that movie for how silly it is. Transylvania 65000. I liked him in Jurassic Park. I liked him in Independence Day. I liked him in this movie. Gina Davis, always liked her, whether it be in Beetlejuice, or this film, or The Long Kiss Goodnight. Always liked Gina Davis. I don't even know, what was the last thing Gina Davis was in? Obviously, she was not going to be in Beetlejuice 2 because she was a ghost, and why would a ghost be old? Plus, it's a shitty movie, so she shouldn't have been in for that as well. I'm just checking, like, what was... I know Jeff Goldblum, he was in, what Thor Ragnarok and other stuff, but what was the last thing Gina Davis was in? Fletch, I liked her in Fletch. She was in Transylvania 650. I forgot she was in that as well. Beautiful, too. It was the Dracula, vampire babe. The Fly, Beetlejuice. Thelma and Louise, A League of Their Own, which I haven't seen that in forever. Long Kiss Goodnight. Stuart Little. She was the Channing Tatum film Blink Twice, directed by Zoe Kravitz. And she was like 10th or 8th on the billing. Fairyland, coming of age drama, where at the end she's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7th on the billing. Ava, which her name isn't even on the fucking posters. Jessica Chastain, Common, John Malkovich, and Colin Farrell. So Gina Davis isn't even popular enough to be on the name on the poster. Some fucking film called Ava. A documentary, This Changes Everything. Some Canadian comedy, Don't Talk to Irene. She's like 5th build. I think TV... She voiced 3 episodes in She-Ra cartoon. She was in the Exorcist show, that's right. I never saw that one. From 2016, it was 10 episodes. Which I never saw that. Well, it got 2 seasons, and she was in 10 episodes. For season 1. Yeah, never saw it, that show. So, yeah. I can't say anything about it. I think she played the older Radian. Which, that's interesting. But I'm sorry, just looking through that. But, yeah. Pretty much they get close. Things seem to be working well. Her ex-boyfriend, who's a dick, played by John Getz, who I remember he's also the main bad guy in the Charlie Sheen Emilio Estevez film Men at Work. I think he's the guy running the dumping of the toxic waste barrels. He's the editor, and I mean he does a good job being a dick, and he's going to run the story even though he's not supposed to, because he doesn't like that she's going out with Jeff Goldblum. Jeff is paranoid, thinking, oh, she's going back to her old boyfriend. I gotta make sure this test works on humans. So he does the test. Unbeknownst to him, there is a housefly in the chamber. He comes out, he seems fine. Now, obviously, if you saw the trailer, you'd be spoiled to this, but I like what they did where if you knew nothing about the film, never saw the trailer, you're assuming, like in the original, when he comes out, he's going to have the head of a fly. So you see this mist, and oh, he's don't come out, he's a monster, but he comes out and he's normal. You're, oh, okay. Granted, yeah, at this point, I don't know if anyone would ever have that feeling because they've seen trailers, and nowadays, tributes and making-ofs and everything in between about this film. So, probably back then, if you saw it blind, you'd have a different experience of that scene than watching it now. It's strange how that works, but I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. I'm sure there's a lot of scenes like that throughout movies where there's one intention because their ideas it's your first time seeing it, but they're not expecting all the marketing and time and history to spoil everything before you see the film. And then it shows a period where he's changing. He's stronger. He could do like acrobatic stuff. He could swing, and even when he's swinging, I like the bit where his feet hits the roof. He's more hyper. He's more agitated. I like the bit where she's like, "You okay? Do you take coffee with your sugar?" He's just put all this sugar in the coffee. He has sex for hours. He's changing more and more. Kind of like someone would with alcoholism or a drug abuse, or in this case, like a weird, fucked up case of cancer. And I felt bad. I felt bad for Jeff Goldblum's character. I felt bad for Gina Davis. You could tell that she cares. She wants to help. She doesn't just abandon the guy. She doesn't just turn a 180 and says, fuck it, I'm gone, fuck off. She tries to help. She wants to help, but there's nothing that she can do. And you just see that, Jeff's mind is turning. You two chicks should be a member of the Dynamic Duo Club. I always thought that was a funny line. And again, really good makeup effects throughout it. The inside out baboon, which I know is a deleted scene, where it would go crazy, and then he would have to kill it. Although, and audiences didn't like it. I mean, was it needed? No. I'm fine that they deleted it. I don't know if I would say I would hate the character because, I mean, what else are you going to do with the thing? Take it to the park? But, I mean, I get it, and it wasn't needed. But even the bits where he's arm wrestling someone and the wrist breaks and you see the bone, that always got me. Really intense, bloody moment. When he's falling apart and all the stages, there's the bit where he's got stuff on his face and his fingernails, the slow fingernail peel, gets me. I said this when I talked about John Carpenter's The Thing, but it's little stuff like a paper cut or like a fingernail thing. I think there's always that fear that'll happen, or if you're cutting a cuticle and it screws up and you feel that sting, you just feel that, but you just know it will be amplified, and like instinctually you feel it. And then the bit that he squeezes and this pus shoots out, and he's falling apart. And it's a slow, gradual disease. And really good makeup effects of seeing this guy just fall apart. You feel bad because you're such a nice, genuine guy at the beginning. And this love story was nice, and you wanted to see it have a happy ending. Of course, it won't. The score by Howard Shore really works in favor of the film, hand in hand. I know Howard Shore did other Cronenberg films. I would say this is my favorite of his, score-wise. And I always gotta remind myself, the tagline, be afraid, be very afraid, is a very, I would say, iconic line, iconic tagline, and it's from this film. Not just on the poster, but Gina Davis says it. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Just how many movies and stuff have said and repeated that line, but it came from this, and I always forget about that. But I'm like, yeah, it is from this movie. That's definitely an impactful moment. And you feel bad for Jeff Goldblum when he's like, as he's going and he's pontificating, and I'm an insect who dreamt as a man and loved it, but now the dream is gone, and the man is gone. Pretty much just showing how he's not going to be who he is anymore. And he even warns her, "Don't come back here, or I may hurt you." Not because of being vindictive, but he cares for her, and he knows that deep within he's not going to be able to control himself. And then by this point, Gina Davis has realized she's pregnant. So what's going to happen with the baby? And when he's begging, "Please don't kill us. Please don't kill me. Don't kill the baby. It's us. It's me. It's all that's left of me." And you understand. You understand why she says, "I can't." And he's like, "Too bad. Too bad." And you just feel so fucking bad for the situation. And for monster fans, it gives you what you want, the different stages. I would say my favorite would be the stage where he's wearing the gloves and he's typing on the computer, and he's still Jeff, and he's still got the hair and stuff, but kind of that in between. And then the last stage where you see the big old bug-eyed fly head. I would say that's my favorite, because I always loved the look of that thing. It works, but I guess if I have a least favorite, it'd be like when he says, like, gets her out of the office and says, "Please don't kill our baby." The way he's lumpy. I always call him Mr. Lumpy, Mr. Meatloaf, during those sections. It works for what it needs to be, so I don't dislike it. It's just, if I have to pick a least favorite, it'd be that. Call him Lumpy. But, I mean, the makeup effects and the gore, too. I mean, there's some pretty good ghastly gore when he's now changed and is going to use her to try to fix him, and his mind is all warped now and changed, and John Getz tries to save her, so even though he's a dick, he tries to do something right, at least. So he's not just a one-dimensional monster or anything. But he gets his hand burned off, he gets his foot burned off by the acid that the character of Seth, Jeff Goldblum's character, pukes up, and it's really gory, and I'm surprised they got away with that with an R rating. It makes me wonder, like, why is it that certain Friday the 13th films, you were so adamant that this, and this can get cut out, but this guy's little hand and little foot, you see the skin and bones eaten away. Like, that's fine. The wrist breaking, that was fine. But if it was Friday the 13th, MPA, you'd go all nutso and crazy and say, "Fuck that, cut it out." So, very hypocritical, the MPA. I'm glad it's in this movie, but I mean, I'm sure they maybe had some issues, but they still got through with an R rating. I'm glad they did, but the MPA are fucking hypocritical bastards. Thankfully, you don't really hear much from them anymore. John Getz, even though he has one arm and one hand in this ass-kicking contest, shoots the thing and saves her. Where she tried to get mad, like he did save her, but he's a fucking dick too. And it's a nice last moment where you see that despite what he is now, there's a semblance of him taking the gun and doing this. I thought that really signified the ending for me on both of them. Him realizing there's that spark of humanity left, so to take the gun and do this, and then her, even after this, after everything, going, no, I can't, no. So deep down, she still loves Seth. Deep down, he still, something's in there, but you know it's got to happen. And you get a really good head explosion, which Cronenberg knows how to do that ever since Scanners. And then the music. I know there was the ending where, I guess there's one ending that she was with John Getz and people hated that. And then there was another ending where she had a dream and her baby turned to a butterfly. I saw that and went, that looks fucking stupid. That just doesn't work. Now, obviously, she did keep the baby because you have the Fly 2, which I think they wanted Gina Davis for that, but it didn't work out. And I don't like that they kill her character off. I think that was shitty. I don't know. I don't know, for some reason I still like the Fly 2, even though they did that. But I mean, the Fly 2, I like more of the monster effects and stuff, not so much the love story or the story itself, but yeah. But I thought the way they ended it here was the right way to go. When the monster is dead, the movie's over. You got her reaction, Seth is dead, credit, fade to black and credits. Like anything else after would just be, like, it really wouldn't matter at the end of the day. And at the time, I'm sure the idea was you make up your own mind as if she keeps the baby or not. Of course, they had answer in the Flight too, but at the time, that was the thing. So this film still works. It's a good story with two very solid performances. Jeff Goldblum, I think he gave a wonderful performance. I know a friend of mine, Effrey, he's a huge fan of this movie, and he would say when we talked back to the day about this, he felt Jeff Goldblum deserved an Oscar nomination. I could see that. I mean, he did a damn good job, and considering some of these people that do get nominated, I think he deserved it, and Gina Davis did a wonderful job too. Like, everybody did a good job. It's mostly their story. The effects are solid and gory and goopy. The love story is tragic and heartfelt at the beginning and tragic at the end. And again, this is what that Wolfman movie in 2025 wanted to be, and it failed. I don't think it's the worst thing ever still, that movie, but it's definitely not this movie. So, like, Demi Moore did a really good job in The Substance as a woman someone who's changing. That's another really good film. Yeah, I know, a new film that I like. Some people say I hate everything. But, yeah, this is a classic. It was great to see this again. I even love the poster. The poster is simple but effective, and what a great time for remakes. The Thing, The Fly, then The Blob. And that will be coming soon. That re-review. That will be coming soon, thanks to Movie Guy. So, stay tuned for that. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.